Alright guys, welcome. So today I'm going to be sharing everything I have learned over the past year, and this is going to be a comprehensive beginner guide. So over the span of the past 7 months of this channel, I've been breaking down my entire journey, but also more of advanced topics. So now I'm like, you know what? I'll just break down everything I've learned for literally anyone. Even if you were, a beginner or have no idea about dropshipping, by the end of this, you will know how to get started, and that's my promise. Okay, so I want to break down the importance of the mindset, so as simple as that, but also where you should be pouring your energy into. So should you be spending hours into creating a website, or whether you should be focusing on AI, content creation, and so on. So these are two things which I'm highlighting from now so that you guys can see how different this is from pretty much any other guide you may have ever seen. And then obviously the third one are the fundamentals and whatever else that may come throughout this journey of starting your first Shopify store, or whether it's trying to find your first winner, making your first 10k, and so on. So this is going to be for anyone who's trying to find their first winner, basically. Okay, so the mindset, I will link it every now and then, but we're not going to just talk about it because I've spoken about this in the past. We're going to jump into the first the basics. So what is dropshipping? First of all, you need to understand that this is not a new business model. It's been around for a very long time. However, over time, it has become more and more popular and infamous. Like last year, a lot of people have found ways to make a lot of money by creating, very emotional videos. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do it the ethical way, as usual. But dropshipping, in short terms, is you being the middleman, and then this is your customer. Okay, and then this is your supplier, and you are basically a marketer where you create content, whether it's with AI or you create it organically, and then you post it on TikTok, Facebook, IG, Snapchat, and YouTube. You get attention. The attention are the customers, so they go to your website, right? And then this is your website. Finally, they purchase for, let's say, $50. You go to your supplier, you pay him 25. He ships it all the way to the customer. That's pretty much it. Okay, so that's all you need to know about the business model for now, and it's way easier than you may think. A lot of people, they like to show you all these requirements that you may need to get started. For example, all these third-party apps to like check how many sales the competitors are getting, how much traffic. Even there's apps which shows you that you're winning products. I have never supported these apps because even when I was starting out, obviously it's the number one thing which everyone talks about, but I just didn't want to rely on an app to show me what product to run. So instead, I'm going to be showing you how to actually find products, because that's the first thing you need. Okay, so obviously for you to market and get attention, you need a good product. So the product is the bread and butter of this business model, but there's a lot of things which you need to understand. So 99% of people, they go for pump and dump method, which means they're just selling attention. Like they're finding something regardless of what value it may provide. So even if it was a very cheap product with like no value, as long as it is related to some sort of trend or some clout at the moment, they would run it to get quick pump of attention, where they funnel them to their website, they get the sales, and then they dump it. So when I started 3.5 years ago, everyone was talking about this, specifically through TikTok, TikTok organic. Back then there was no TikTok shop, so that was primarily where everyone was dropshipping, actually, over like 3.5 years, maybe 4 years. But nowadays, I would argue the best way to actually run a productive and profitable product is by creating this brand. to make it look like a brand. So the pump and dump method is not what you're going to be seeing in this channel. I'm actually like, it is the main reason why I found my winner in the first place, because everyone was saying go for the pump and dump. I ignored everyone. Even when I chose my product, everyone was saying don't go for it. I stuck to it. After a few months, obviously at the start it was like really bad, but then eventually I started building it, and then eventually it became a brand. So the point is, although it's not flashy to start a brand or a branded product, in the long run, the ROI, the return on investment, is way higher. And that's what I'm preaching for here. So we're going to do the branded organic route, okay? So let me break this down in simple terms for anyone to understand. What is a brand? Okay, and how do you create a branded organic dropshipping store or product? You need to find a different sort of product following a criteria which I'm about to share. And based off that, you need to create a long-term vision for the product. So you don't want to be running a product just for a few weeks or a month and then dumping it. No, you're going to be picking a product which you know for a fact you could be running it for the next year and it will be profitable. So that's one. And then two, you need to actually put in a lot of energy into marketing this product, because branding, all what it is increasing the perceived value of the product. So it could be literally a normal shirt. We're not doing clothing brands, but there's just a quick example. Like shirts, they cost like $1 from the supplier. However, because of the branding and the way you're customizing the product, which is another thing about branding. So one of the best ways, I would argue, to create a brand is to have a custom or even a flexible product. I'll explain in a minute. So this is just a quick example. A shirt is $1, maybe even in cents, and people are selling it for $25 plus, primarily because it's a brand. So it's literally the same shirt, but then it has like a logo on it. So that's what it is. It's just because they're primarily focusing on a specific trend or a specific way of marketing. They're getting attention, they're getting emotions associated with the product, and then they're selling the emotion in the form of a shirt. So it's the same product, but there's a upscale on it because of the niche or trend or whatever they're trying to sell. So this could be anything. This could be whatever passionate niche you're trying to sell the shirt for. You know what I mean? So that's what branding is, and this applies to anything. Okay, I'll be giving you some examples as well. So let's start off by speaking about the criteria that you should be following to know that your product is actually worthy of branding or not. So the first thing you want to be looking for, this is a criteria. I'm going to be typing down the steps or the criteria pillars. Number one is going to be, once again, flexibility. So I said this previously, but this may be a bit confusing. What is flexibility in terms of a product? I'm talking about the marketing of the product. So there's a few products which we've seen last year which has done so well to the point where we still see them to this day. And for the most part, they're literally seen as a pump and dump product. So in my opinion, for beginners, the best way to start is to actually find a product which is not really hard to run, because there's a lot of like high barrier of entry branded products, but those are more of a risky product to run because they take a long amount of time. Because you need to understand, the number one asset we have as organic dropshippers or organic marketers is time, right? We're not spending money to market, we're creating organic content. So the only thing we have to spend is time. So you need something that can get you off the ground as soon as possible, but then, has an actual value to the customer. So I would argue the best way to start is actually finding a pump and dump product, in the sense that you can find it on Amazon, for example. It's something that's not necessarily hard to find, but it has a very specific way of marketing. So you could switch up the marketing today from tomorrow, like depending on what the trend is. The best example is, I'm going to give two examples. So there's this product right here. If you've been in the space, you would know this projector, and it would show up on the wall. So you could put it, like, you could market this product around whatever you want, whether it's watching Netflix, gaming, whatever, right? Recently, it's been trendy in the niche of reading and, just like cozy vibes, sleeping niche. So why did people do this? Is because every other angle was very saturated to the point where now they just wanted to see these untapped angles where they could market it for, and that will acquire them untapped audience, right? So although this product is very saturated, they were able to get a lot of views from unsaturated parts of the market. And this is what people like to call the purple ocean. So you may have heard about this before. There's the red ocean. Red ocean means it's very saturated market, aka the product, like on paper, if you were to see this product, is very red ocean. It's very saturated. And then blue ocean is when it's untapped, and 99% of the time when you are trying to start out with this journey, just like myself, when I first started, everyone was focusing on blue ocean. They were trying to sell the idea of, oh, you need to find this untapped product, the golden product, which is just going to change your life. And I wasted, I would say, up to 3 months, like legit. I wasted 3 months testing products which were unsaturated. And then, yeah, that's where I understood that I need to find what is in between. Purple ocean. Purple ocean is a product which is saturated to an extent, but then it has a specific audience, specific angle of the market which you could target. So in this case, it's the product which is saturated, but then you're using a very specific part of the pie. This is the market. You're just hitting one part of it, which is the reading niche, for example. Okay? So that's what we are trying to focus on, especially for beginners. We want to run a product which is saturated, and you may argue or you may question, why are we going for saturated or red ocean products? Because oftentimes when you pick these products, they already have done the heavy lifting for you. They're already validated. So others have already tested them. They've made a lot of money with them, and then they've either created a brand out of them or dumped them. Okay? So people have tested it before, prior to you testing it, and they have laid down the road for you. So they've literally proved that they can make money with it, but perhaps it's not a long-term product, so they just dumped it, but you still get the fundamentals that they were able to go viral with it and then monetize it, get sales. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel and try to find out whether it's actually going to convert, whether it's going to go viral or not. No, you actually know that it is a wow factor product, it has a value, and so on. So this is what we should focus on when starting out. And flexibility is what is going to allow us to go for this purple ocean strategy, to find this product and then find a niche for it. And by the way, it doesn't need to be a niche, it could be a marketing angle. So marketing angle. I would like to give one more example because this is really good. So there's the punching bags, and personally I've tried running these products when I first started. There's a lot of ways to sell this for. In my opinion, right now obviously there's Fun Punch, which is literally dominating the market, but every now and then you would see some people who are coming out of nowhere, running this product for like a month or two, going viral, getting a quick pump and then dumping it, because they're finding this purple ocean strategy. They're finding this different angle of marketing, such as, I don't know if you've seen this angle where they use this punching bag for gamers. So whenever they're mad, they would punch it while they're playing like some random video game. So that's pretty much like the most common angle which I've seen people go viral with, which are like doing the pump and dump method. So they're entering a market which is super monopolized. Like that brand is doing really well. So there's almost no chance. Well, there's a small chance for you to compete, but it's going to require a lot of energy and knowledge. So it's more of an advanced, product to compete with. So not anyone can just come in and compete with it. So the only people who actually made it work are people who went for this purple ocean strategy. They've hit that part of the market which is not being optimized or targeted enough by the main brand, and they made a quick buck with it. Okay, so that's flexibility, bit of a longer one, but this is really important. Number two is you want to look for value, and value could be in price, like literally high value product, or high perceived value. So you need to make sure that the product on its own can sell. So that's one, you need to make sure that the product actually has a high perceived value. And then two, it has some sort of experience attached to it or emotion. So one would be high perceived value. Number two, it would have some experience tied to it or emotion. All right, once again, so high perceived value, meaning the product can be sold for 3 to 5x the margins of what you're fulfilling it for, and then it can be, sold on its own, so it has some wow factor to it, or it's just well built. And then number two, experience. So any sort of product which can be sold, for example, in summer, the water clocks, these are fun experience products. So, customers would buy them just for that season to have a good experience. So although these products are very cheap, they literally cost like $1 or $2 to fulfill, but then you're paying for the shipping. These provide a very memorable experience for the customer, therefore they will buy. Thirdly, emotion. So we can talk about a lot of different points here. For example, products for couples, for pets, and so on. That's just one part of the equation. There's a lot of different emotions you could sell a product for. So these, in my opinion, are some of the best ways to start, but I wouldn't rely only on them. I would run multiple products, which we're about to talk about in a minute. And then thirdly is customizability, which is once again tied to the branding. Now, this is obviously not mandatory, but it will definitely make you stand out, because if you're facing a problem where you're selling a product which is oversaturated and you just feel like you need to stand out, then you may as well just find one of these products which can be either literally truly custom, so like a Lego product, or you could find something that has a logo on it or logoed boxes, something that could make you stand out. So this is optional, but this is definitely one of the best ways to stand out, and it could actually make you on a different league from the main platforms. For example, Lego products, you cannot just find them on Amazon, because you cannot just do a print on demand product on Amazon. Okay, so this is for print on demand. All right, and lastly, it needs to have a proven concept. Proven concept. This is really important. What does this mean? Once again, why are we going for saturated products? Because they're validated. So you need to find a product which has either been in the market before. So it doesn't have to be right now in the market, but it needs to have performed well in the past, or even better, till this day. So I'm going to make a quick list of how to find out whether the product has a proven concept or not. Number one is there's people who are still posting. So still active. So let's say that you find someone who's been posting for the same product for the past year plus. It means they're making sales. So that's one. And then two. That's one. Two, it needs to have brands established using the same product. Number three, and then check their comment section. So their comments. A very good example to this is seasonal products. So you might find like really good products which has been only used or sold during Christmas, for example. Best example is the Advent calendar. So one way to find out which calendar to sell is to check which has done really well last year, and then check their comment section. Oftentimes you're going to see a pattern. If everyone is asking for where to buy and giving like good feedback about it, that's a good sign for you to understand that, okay, this is a proven concept product, everyone's happy with it, let me sell it. Okay, so there's a lot of ways. These are like primarily the things I'm looking for. So something that someone is posting for a very long time on. Actually, I'm gonna add one more. We're gonna add, this is gonna be personal. So you need to look at the long-term vision. So all of the first three are from the market, you observing others. But then the fourth one is you asking yourself, can I run this for a while? Like, can I run this for 1 year plus? All right, so I'm actually gonna add one more point, but this is like no brainer, the virality to it. So it would definitely help you out to pick a product which is viral right now, but the problem is most people go for these shiny object syndrome products when they're starting out, and that's a big problem because oftentimes you're just wasting your time jumping from one product to another. But if these products which you're running takes at least 2 or 3 of these boxes, then it's fine to run them, especially the flexibility part. In my opinion, that's why I chose this as number one. If you can find a pump and dump which is flexible in the marketing sense, then you could run this product for a bit longer to test all the angles which are untapped, and then whatever sticks, you double down on it, and then you can, convert the attention to sales. So virality is picking a product which actually has some sort of demand in the market right now. This is definitely going to help you out to decide what product to run. But again, make sure that you follow 2 or 3 of these points. So current high demand products. I'm gonna even give you a very good example because I'm not gonna be gatekeeping anything, boys. This is gonna be very clear. One very good example are the glasses with cameras with them. So these are some of the most viral products of 2025, and they just continue to improve. So back in March or even Feb of 2025, there was this camera which you put on your chest, and then I literally ran this back then, but then it kept on improving. So firstly, everyone was trying to figure out what marketing angle to go for, to use this product for. They tried, the car niche, I think the one after was like the horse riding niche and so on. Later on, a new product came out, which is this one actually, and like just normal sunglasses with cameras, and it just keeps on going. Why? Because it became a trend. There's a lot of content creators who put these glasses on and they create content, so it just makes perfect sense. More products come in, more people create content, it just keeps on going viral. It's like a cycle. So this is a good example of viral products. So although it's a very saturated product, you could market it in 100 ways, so it will continue to go viral. So yeah, that's probably the best criteria you're gonna see whenever I don't know if you've seen any other criterias. I'm pretty sure they're nothing like this. Usually it's like you go for wow factor products, high attention right now, and yeah, that's it, right? But these are actually like what you need to look for, especially the first one. So that's the criteria. Next is gonna be, so we spoke about the product, now it's probably about the account. Now it's time for the account. So how to set up your accounts for marketing. So account setup, because this is, in my opinion, the most important thing along with the product. You could have the best product in the world, but if your accounts are, one, they're not marketing to the right market, that's a problem. And then two, they're just not good enough to go viral. So if you have these two problems with your account, then you're not gonna sell, even if you have the best account in the world or the best product in the world. All right, so the first thing you want to look for when creating your accounts, I'm gonna make it clear, you want to create an account on YouTube, on IG, on Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok, all of them, okay? And you want to be posting everywhere 2 to 3 times per day. You could definitely make it up to 5 or even 10, but these are only going to be on Meta. So Meta can handle that amount of posts per day, but for the most part, 2 to 3 is perfect. Back in the days, people were saying 1 time per day or even 2 times per day is enough, but this Q4 has taught me that the more volume you put in, especially to Meta, and even, I would say even YouTube, like YouTube Shorts can handle 3 posts per day is fine. The more volume with quality, so you don't want to sacrifice any quality, the better, okay? So volume is the best thing you can do, because it will not only get you more views, but also it will give you a higher chance of going viral. It's like a snowball effect. You just keep on, you know, putting in the work until it compounds enough for it to, roll one of them to go viral. So volume is really important, and it will actually help you to find out whether your accounts are good. So it would take you around 2 weeks to find out whether your account is good or not. So after 2 weeks, if you're still getting 0 views, especially on Instagram, I would dump the account. I would create a new one, because I've seen people who go literally viral in a week. Personally, in a matter of 3 to 5 days, I usually get up to 1,000 views on Meta. So how do we do that? You need to warm up your account. You need to warm up or prime your account. So what is priming? Priming means aging. If there's an account that's really old, so created back in 2015, 2010, whatever, it's better to use it for Meta. One of the ways to do that is to either find your old accounts and then just rebrand them, or if you don't want to do that, then you could just, I don't know, see someone in your family who has an old account, your uncle or something. Some people like to purchase as well. So yeah, you can just find out what works for you. The older the account, the better. And this is going to help you out to go viral faster. So that's number one. And then number two, preferably look for an account that is linked to your target audience. So car niche, find an account which is old enough and was used to scroll in the car like niche. You know what I mean? So these will help you for sure to not only go viral, but also go viral in the right market. Okay. So these are some important factors when creating your account. Now, obviously, I'm going to break some misconceptions. If you have someone in the US creating your IG account, for example, it won't matter. It won't get you US audience. Instagram is by far, also for Facebook. So Facebook and IG, these two, they're the most globalized platforms. So regardless of where you're creating the account, to an extent, you cannot control the outreach. So the best thing you can do is actually create better content which is related to the target audience you're trying to reach. That's one. So I'm actually going to link it here to how to reach your audience. Number one is going to be your post timing. This is really important. This is by far the biggest change I've done over the past 6 months. So before I was posting, and this all links up to what I used to hear. So the people I used to watch who are trying to teach me have created these beliefs I had about when to post, what to post, and so on. But the more I tested, I created my own beliefs because I figured out what was true. So at the start, everyone was saying don't post. So at the start, everyone was saying you could post at any time of the day as long as you have a good account. That's all that matters. Completely false. You need to be posting at prime times to get prime audience. Okay, that's one. Number two, the sounds of your formats are gonna impact who is gonna watch your content. For example, if you put funk music, it's not gonna provide you with the same level of audience as other music. Next is the format. So how are you planning to go viral? Think about the formats. If you were to go viral with a meme or like a joke sort of format, it's not going to convert as much as creating a salesy or luxury format, which is going to go viral. You know what I mean? So you need to make sure that the idea of the video, which is going viral, has some sort of salesiness to it, making you stand out as a seller, but also showing that the product is high perceived value, something that will actually be worth buying. So the formats are really important. All right, and number 4 is going to be the niche. So always ask yourself when picking a product, who is the target audience that's watching my content? That will save you a lot of time, a lot of headache, trust me, because the worst thing is going viral and then not converting. And 99% of the time is because of the niche that you're in or, one of the other factors, but primarily the niche. This is going to do the heavy lifting for you. If you find one of these top converting niches, a quick tip is like women products. They're always really good, or emotion products. Number five. Okay, number five is going to be the account itself. So unfortunately, some accounts are just gonna convert better than others. So the account on its own is gonna play a big role in whether you're gonna, you know, have a higher quality account than others. So this is gonna be linked to a few things: the IP, the, you know, location of where it's the origin, where was it created. Again, the language and the audience, the target audience. So these are what you're looking for, okay? So if you ever create an account and you have problem with low quality audience, or, you know, no sales after going viral, look at this list and then analyze what you need to change. It's one way or another one of these factors, okay? So this is really important. Now we've broken down the account setup, how to reach your audience, the product criteria, how to pick a winning product. What else? I mean, this is probably the most important things, because this is where 99% of people fall into, like when they're trying to find their winner. They either go viral, they don't convert, or they cannot even go viral to begin with. They cannot find a winning product. So once you figure these out, now it's all about the website. So let's say you actually picked a good product, you have a very good account set up, you warmed it up. Actually, I haven't spoken about the warm-up process. So the warm-up process is very simple. You want to create it. You want to create an account, and then within like 3 to 5 days, make sure that it's primed, it's warmed up in the same niche that you're trying to market to, and then start posting. So you don't want to just create an account and start posting right off the bat. No, you want to create an account. Don't even put a profile picture. Just scroll, watch the video to the end. Preferably search up, you know, the topics you're trying to watch. So number one, search topics, watch a lot of reels or shorts or whatever. Don't spam. So that's the most important one. Do not spam, because you're dealing with machines, right? With algorithm machines who are trying to study what you're trying to do. So if you spam, it's going to look like you're a bot, and you're going to get shadow banned, or, you know, it's going to take you longer to go viral. So just act normal. Post after 3 to 5 days. Post 3 to 5 days later, or after warming up. The profile picture can be later, like maybe on third day, and then you can post once, and then next day you can post twice, and then 3 times, and then you just stick to whatever number you want to post per day. So yeah, this is important. And again, there's no limit to how much you can post on IG and Facebook. The more the better, but don't do it at the start. Wait it out for a week or two, and then pump it up to 5 to 10. So now we've broken down these factors, we can move on to the website. Because remember when I said a lot of people used to say these certain things which have created false beliefs. For example, posting time doesn't matter. It does matter. You need to post in the prime times. And then number 2 was the website. A lot of people you're going to watch, or gurus, are going to tell you that the website does not matter. You just need to, you know, find a shiny object syndrome product, go viral with it, and then just funnel them to your store and they're going to buy. False. You need to have a lot of branding around your website. And this is one thing which I keep on realizing more and more, especially in Q4. In Q4, it was all about the website and the marketing. If you have good enough marketing that's going to show high perceived value, make it clear that you're selling it, and then you funnel them to the website, and the website is on point, so the offers are clear, the theme, the branding is on point, you're going to sell, okay? So why is this important, and how can we fix it? The reason it is important is because every single person who I train in my affiliate program, which is free, I see a pattern. Everyone has the same website. And then you go to, you know, your burn account. Burn account is an account which is just solely created to find dropshipping products. So literally pick like 5 different stores, check their website. Oftentimes you're gonna see the exact same layout, the same everything, and that's a problem. They're all following the pump and dump layout, and that's a very big problem. So you want to create a brandable looking website. Even if you're selling a very cheap product which you think has no perceived value, trust me, you're always better off overdoing it than not meeting the standard, because the standard of the market has gone up so much in the past 6-8 months. AI is taking over, and we're going to get into AI in a bit, don't worry, but it's very linked to this. So we're going to talk about AI with the website. You want to create a brand. How do you do that? You need to use AI Studio, to use Nano Banana Pro, to create high perceived value images, and then preferably have your landing page with these landing images. So these will be on your landing page. Okay? And that's going to make you stand out. And one tip, okay? Preferably get your landing page to the home page. So if your product has the luxury of allowing you to have a home page landing page, do it and then create a very high perceived value hero image. That way they're going to see the image, they're going to see like, the branding of your store. Then they can either click on it or swipe to see your product. So this is one way to, so I'm going to say the home page. We're going to call it the home page method. This is my favorite, in my opinion, because it makes you actually look like a brand. A lot of people still, till this day, they go for the collection page. Personally, I've never liked it, but I would rather do it to the product page than the collection page. So this is a very good example here. This is a branded product, and this is the best like branding you can see. So this is a very high barrier of entry product, but the branding was on point. And I know the owner, I speak with him sometimes, he's done a tremendous work on the store. But the reason I'm giving you this example is to see that his landing page is actually the product page. So although they have a lot of different examples here, they still just put the landing page here because you can just see the different variants all in one place. So this makes the friction very minimal. You could just see all the variants and see all the features, see the offer. This is Kaching app, really, really good. This is what I use. And yeah, everything is super clean. I mean, there's nothing to ask for more than this. Really good. So you want to do something like this. Create a very high perceived value images, high perceived value branding, and so on. And make it just as frictionless as possible for the customer to buy. Okay? So I would rather go for the product page rather than the collection page. If you have more variants, then take them to the home page and always base it off a winning brand. So if you can find someone who's doing really well, even if it's a different product, take an idea. You don't want to copy paste. It's just for inspiration. So these are some tips here. If you want to see exactly how to create a website, I will have to create a different guide for it. But I've actually made a speedrun recently where I built it for my subscriber. So you can check that out. But these are the most important things you should look for. And honestly, at this day and age, creating a website is not hard. You can just look for one of these AI builders, not sponsored by the way. I use Shrine, but these are free and literally the same as Shrine. Crazy. And then you just need to plug the blocks and that's it. So it does the heavy lifting for you. So yeah, the guides nowadays, like my type of guide is, I wouldn't show you how to build a website because it's so easy with AI Builder nowadays. It will literally create it in half an hour. I usually, by the way, never supported these, but especially since I've seen how good my affiliate team members' websites are, and the fact that it was all free, have changed my perspective. So you can check that out. Yeah, so these are the main things you want to look for when it comes to the website. Next is AI. We need to speak more about AI because this is the biggest change of 2026. So I'm going to break down what I have personally used AI for so far and how you should be using it as of right now, okay? So number one, you can start using AI for product selection. This is something which is very new and usually I wouldn't go for, or I wouldn't like promote much, but recently with Alibaba, for example, I have started using it to find products. So once again, my sort of products are more custom, so I wouldn't just find them on CJ or GoShip Pro and so on. No, I'd have to go to Alibaba and then search for them. So there's this new feature which is called AI Agent, and it's integrated with Alibaba, so it would use the database and find the product for you, which is great. So if you expected me to give you like a third-party app which is gonna find the product for you, not me. That's not me. Yeah, always go for these authentic platforms to find products. This is like literally the main source of all ecom products. So why would you find a third party which is upscaling the product price and looking for it for you? No. Instead, you could search for it, speak with the main guys, with the actual suppliers or manufacturers, get better prices, better shipping, better branding, and so on. So this is the first way I'm using it for my brands. The second use for AI is going to be for branding. Again, the AI images, you would be surprised how much it pumps your CVR. So when I first picked my product, which was like a year and 2 months ago, which I still run to this day, I joined a very red ocean market where literally all of my big competitors were dominating the market. They've been in the space for years. And for me to compete with them, I would have had to spend money to actually get someone to design the store, design the images and the videos and so on. Fast forward today, my branding is literally the same, if not better, than my competitors because of AI. Back then, they didn't use it. Until this day, you'd be surprised how many people don't use AI images because there's no limit. You could just keep on creating. And the more time you pour into it, the better. The higher your standard is, the creativity, the better the outcome is going to be. So pour your time into this. This is going to create your brand. And this is primarily going to be for the images and even the videos, which we're going to talk about here. So the marketing, which is the latest specialty which I'm getting into. I've actually been studying this for the past like 2 months. And it will really depend from one product to another. So some products is harder to market them using AI, but then others are literally easy. You don't even need the product. So I'll give you like a quick breakdown of how you could do this too. The most common way is UGC right now. So UGC AI marketing is, in my opinion, the most straightforward. So you could do this by, again, using AI Studio to create these avatars. And then you use VO 3.1, which is also by Gemini, by Google, to animate this person and, do the review or whatever you're trying to make the avatar do. So this is what people are doing. Now, for my product, this doesn't apply. So mine will require a lot more advanced AI usage. So literally for products to look realistic, it's not that easy. So preferably for products, I can tell you some products are dominating the market with AI, but I would say the main reason why not every product is marketed with AI is because some products are better than others when it comes to AI marketing. So I'll give you a quick example. So there's bracelets which can be marketed with AI. For example, the F1 bracelet, we've seen this a lot. If you know, you know. You can search it up. This product, I would argue he doesn't even have it, but he's still marketing it with AI. So just one example, I would argue maybe this is because it's too small object, and it's stationary. Maybe that's why he was able to market it so smoothly with AI. But this will require a lot of work to, learn and, do trial and error until you find realistic looking videos. But what I'm gonna give you for now is the simplest or the best ways to start with AI marketing is to focus on hooks. Creating hooks with AI is your best way. Okay? Going for products with AI is not advanced enough in my opinion. So obviously you can do it if your product is like this. Otherwise, start with a hook, because the hook is gonna, determine whether you're gonna get a lot of engagement or not. So follow a winning criteria. Find this, video which you can replicate with AI and make it better. So if you can find these hooks, do your product research, your market research, find these hooks, and a lot of them right now are AI, by the way. So I'll give you a quick example. There's a trend recently like the falling car from the sky, and this is literally AI, obviously. So you could recreate this with AI for your product. So that's my personal opinion of how to start with marketing with AI, is to start with the hooks, do your market research, find formats which are going viral, and then recreate them, for example this. And eventually you could, start marketing the product with AI. But the problem is I've seen some people try it and it looks fake. So in my opinion, you should be pouring 50% of your energy into AI and then 50% into product marketing. So what do I mean by this? Half of the video is AI, the hook, and then the rest is your product. I think that's a perfect balance to go viral right now. And that's what I'm doing. So I wouldn't create the product with AI, at least not now. Finally, I'm using AI for customer support, obviously, and backend, and so on. So any sort of backend thing I need to fix, I just ask AI to solve it for me. But the final part is going to be the supplier part. And this is pretty straightforward. You have two options. Either you want to go for GoShip Pro, CJ, or you want to go for Alibaba. These are your best choices. Now, again, personally, I prefer Alibaba, but for anyone who's starting out, you could go for this at the start, and then eventually, when you find a better product, a more custom product, go for Alibaba. Let's see, is there anything missing? I'm trying to make this very informative, but at the same time very fast, because I'm against like the 7-8 hour guides. I truly think these are like the primary areas you should be pouring your energy into. You don't want to be wasting like 5 hours watching a website guide of how to create it. Again, you could just create it with AI. All right, let's move on now to the editing part. So editing and filming. This is obviously your bread and butter, because this is where, or this is like the determining factor to whether you're gonna go viral and convert. So the best strategy by far, personally, is to film the moment you wake up. So create a system where you just wake up, you're fresh, create content for the day. So create 3 original videos per day, in the morning preferably, and then you can edit them basically anytime up until 6 p.m. CET. That's the time where you want to post, okay? And then you can check that time according to your local time, but nighttime is the best time to post. So preferably record in the morning, edit them, and then post at night. And never bulk film. Bulk filming is something which, in my opinion, is not good, because it makes you a bit lazy, and it's only good for advanced people. So if you're very confident about your content and it's proven to work, so you've gone viral with the same content for a very long time, then you could transition to bulk filming. But for the most part, for the majority, record every single day, because you're gonna find out that every single day you're getting 1% better, okay? And long enough, you're gonna see what stands out, what goes viral, and that's when you double down on what works, create more content, split test, and so on. And you could wait, by the way, 1 hour gap per post, up to 3 hours per post, up to you. Personally, if I want to post like 5 times a day, I would post now, wait 1 hour, post again, wait 1 hour, post again, and so on. But if you have like 2 posts per day, post now, wait 2 to 3 hours, and then post again, it's totally fine. So it's really up to how many posts you got. And split testing is going to help you out to go more viral. So this is primarily for Meta, because it doesn't shadow ban you as much as others. So split testing means you post it for a week or 2 weeks, and then you have one video which has more views than others. So you want to analyze that content, see what was the main reason this went viral, or at least got more views than others. Was it the hook? So you want to dissect the video, find what worked. So here's the hook, and then you have maybe the product reveal or whatever, the next post you could try the same hook and see, will it get you more views? If not, then try again with this. Will it get you more views? Find out what has caused this to, generate more views than others or engagement. Eventually, you're gonna find out exactly the elements which made you go viral, and that's when you can just print. You can just recreate this over and over again. And honestly, like at the start, you don't even need to do any rocket science. If this format, say, got you 100k views, recreate the whole thing. You don't even need to think about it. You could recreate it the next day, but then try to make it better. So let's say here it was 4 seconds and then here it was 6 seconds. Recreate the whole thing, but then make it better. And it's gonna more likely generate more views, okay? So this is what split testing means. It's like recreating what has worked in the past, but then changing few elements to it. So you could change, so although this is the same duration, you could change the sound, you could change the text, you could change maybe the hook, or even the targeting. So making sure that you try different target audiences and see which one resonates better and gets more views. Lastly would be the background. So you could actually change the background every single time and see which one performs the best. This can also resonate with specific target audience more than others. Now that's for the split testing. Now obviously you want to be editing on CapCut. Next will be the filming part. So what sort of equipment to get? Number one, you want to be getting softboxes. For the most part, these will do the job for you. Some products could do better with ring lights, but for the most part, this is perfect. Next, you want to get anything but chest support tripod. Don't get any chest support tripod unless it's absolutely necessary for the product. So preferably get magnetic, stationary tripod. And honestly, it's always better to reinvest into your filming background or equipment, especially after you make some sales. So these are the first two. And then you want to get like a corner where you just dedicate it for filming. So preferably a dedicated background. I'm going to highlight this point because it's such an underrated problem. You see, the more friction you have between you and the work, the less likely you're going to do it. So let's say you want to go record now, but you remember that you need to put the lights there, you need to clean up the table and so on, then you're more likely to either waste time to convince yourself up to get the job done, or you might not even do it to begin with. So yeah, you want to make it very easy to get the job done, but also enjoyable. It's not going to be enjoyable when you have to put in a lot of work to get started. So this is really important. All right, moving on to the final point. So you want to be exporting your edits at 1080p 60 fps, and the same applies to filming. So you want to be filming at these settings. No HDR on, okay? Turn off your HDR on both CapCut and your camera settings. So that's for the filming part. Everything, the final takes for the mindset, since I promised you guys with some mindset tips, don't expect this to be like an overnight success thing. Always focus on the skills that will make you create this brand, okay? So learn the skills, how to create content, how to follow the trends, make them better, how to split test, how to do the market research, how to have a good eye for a winning product. Once you do find a good product, you go viral with it, learn how to make a CTA, call to action video, where you funnel them to your website. And once you learn these skills, you could literally do it over and over again for any product. So it's actually the skills that matter. And then the moment you actually learn these skills, you master them, you have the mindset that you can just make any product go viral, create any brand. That's when you actually win. It's not about the numbers. And that's one. Two, it requires a lot of persistence. So especially if you go for one of these harder products, I'm going to give you like this example. The punching bag, really hard product. It's a high risk because you're going to spend a lot of time for a small chance of actually making it. So try to find a product at the start which is like those I gave here. Run it enough, be patient with it, and every single day self-analyze. What did I create Was it good enough? If not, how can I improve it? Okay. And actually, one tip is called XP farming. As a beginner, you're always better off getting experience over the perfect plan. Honestly, like if you're a complete beginner, you're always better off testing 3 products per month, or maybe five. 5 is unrealistic. I would say a lot of people say this, like 5, 10 products, but no. Run 3 products per month. Do this long enough, you're gonna learn a lot. Okay? And that's what XP farming is, testing as many times or as many things as possible in such a short amount of time so that you fail a lot until one of them sticks out. Okay, so that's really important. One more thing is be emotionless about everything, be rational, and always follow data with your decisions. Same for, not getting views. Don't be emotional about it. Just put in the work every single day. Eventually it's going to pay you off. And network. Okay, you need to network with like-minded people. You don't need to share your thoughts or your plans with people who you know are going to give you negative feedback about it. Preferably keep it for yourself. Try to network. If you're looking for a good network, you could join my Discord as well. It's in bio. You'll find like-minded people there. And that's the end goal. You need to find people who are into the same mission as yours, who follow the same principles, the same values as you, and who will just push you forward. Okay, it's about the competitive energy that you're looking for. So that's one thing which I have lacked on my way up. So that's why I'm actually like really focusing on my Discord right now, to just create this community where we just share free sauce together and we win together. So yeah, hopefully this has taught you guys what it takes to get started in 2026. It was a lot of information. I hope you guys can, digest it and make sense out of it, because if it wasn't that good, I'd probably have to make it again. But if it did help you, let me know. And yeah, if you learned something new, feel free to subscribe and join my Discord. And last thing is, if you'd like to join my affiliate program, completely free, you get to learn and get a cut, free mentorship and everything. So if you're interested, let me know as well over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.